The first step to achieving a goal, any goal, is to simply get started. And yet, how many times do you hear stories about people failing to achieve their goals? In fact, how many times have you failed to achieve your goals, all because they or you just can't get started? Maybe you're tired of your boring as heck 9-to-5 job. Know you want to start a business but don't know where to start. Or maybe you're sick of being out of shape. Know you want to and you need to exercise more, but you just can't get yourself into the gym and take that first step. I'm Halpern, the founder of Social Triggers, and I've got a simple strategy that you can use today to finally start working towards your goals. Now look, I wasn't always this super organized, ultra productive, time managing, goal achieving stud you see here today. Where's my keys? And do you know where my watch is? When I was first getting into behavioral psychology and knew I wanted to use research to back up my claims about how to succeed in the online business world, I knew I needed to read more books. But I just couldn't make myself start, which is funny because now I read a few books a week. How did I make that happen? Well, I'll tell you how. But first, let me ask you this. You know that goal you've always had in the back of your mind that you can't seemingly start? Why haven't you started working towards it yet? Whatever your goal is, I bet some of your excuses for not getting started sound like this. Well, I don't know how to get started. Or, I don't have the time. Or, if this sounds familiar, then you must hear me out. Are you ready for this? I call this the before I go to sleep technique. So I knew I wanted to read more books, but I just couldn't get started. So what did I do? I left a book on my end table, the same spot where my alarm clock is, and I pledged to myself, before I go to sleep tonight, I will read 5 pages of a book. And what happened? Before I went to bed every night, as I leaned over to set my alarm clock, I saw the book. There it was, staring me in the face, reminding me that I had made a promise to myself to read before I went to sleep. So that's what I did. I read those 5 pages, and sometimes more. I was able to develop a habit of reading, and now I actually love to read. But notice, I didn't say something like starting tomorrow, or I'm going to read a book a day. Why not? Well, first, a book a day is really a ridiculous goal at first, especially when you're not a reader. You need to break that stuff down. And second, more important, you'll never start anything if you say you'll start tomorrow. You need to start now, right away, immediately. Don't put it off any longer, just get started. And that's the trick. Break down your goal into something that is manageable and start immediately. Say to yourself, before I go to sleep tonight, I will. Let me share another example. By the end of 2011, I knew I wanted to start a podcast. My friend Pat Flynn told me it was a great idea and that I should start one up. I could have said, good idea, I'll think about it. And if I did, I bet Social Triggers Insider Podcasts probably would not exist today. But instead, I said, you know what, Pat? You're right. Before I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to email 5 people who I want to bring on my podcast. Here's the best part. I didn't have a microphone yet. I didn't even know how to set up a podcast. But that didn't stop me. I knew that if I emailed these 5 people and at least one of them said yes, I'd have to get the rest of my act together. And that's what happened. Now let's take this back to you and your dreams. Have you been putting off starting a blog? Tell yourself this, before I go to sleep tonight, I will register my domain and write my about page. Remember, the idea is to just get started. You don't have to perfect your about page. You don't even necessarily need a clear idea of what your blog will be about. You just need to get started. And if you don't know how to set up a blog, I've got a tutorial and link below this video on how to do it, so you don't have any excuses. Or are you thinking about starting a freelance business? Make this rule. Before I go to sleep tonight, I will email 5 of my closest friends and say, hey, I'm finally going to start my freelance business. If you know anyone who might be interested in my services, I'd love for you to introduce me to them. If not, that's fine. But I give you permission to give me a kick in the ass if you see me start to get lazy with this. After you've done that, start planning small goals for the next few days. Before I go to sleep tomorrow night, I will register my website and put up a services page that describes what I plan to sell. So what's the key here? The key is to make a pledge to yourself to accomplish one small goal before you go to sleep each night. This works to break down one larger goal into manageable little bits and helps you set a realistic time frame for accomplishing those goals. Then you need to keep your word and live up to your own expectations. Cool? Now, to keep you honest, here's what I want you to do right now. Not later. Before you do anything else today, here's what I want you to do. I want you to leave a comment below this video and say, before I go to sleep tonight, I will. Do it now. Then to keep you even more honest, I want you to tweet or Facebook it out. I want you to say, before I go to sleep tonight, I will. Let's get some public accountability on this thing, okay? Great. If you like this simple challenge and you want more videos just like this, subscribe to my channel. And if you know a friend who would think this little exercise can help them, send them a link to this video. Let's see how many people are willing to finally start working towards their dreams and goals today. Until next time. So good, I do 3 weeks in one. Nailed it!